You're so welcome. Thank you so much. I'm literally.
Honestly, I don't think you're too good.
Yeah.
Maybe.
I don't know. They, oh, yeah. But yeah.
You will not.
And it's also. This is great. I read it. Okay. Like the idea.
I now call this meeting to order at 5 o'clock PM. Senator Yonis. If I talk today. We're now going to move into a roll call.
President Ali, Vice President Brenton, Treasurer Allen, Chief of Staff Hurley, Deputy Chief of Staff Brantley, Director Edwards, Assistant Director Yavoya, Director Bryant, Assistant Director Lane, Director Matthews, Assistant Director Reese. Director Fleury. Assistant Director Animation. Director Reyes.
Present.
Assistant Director Paredes. Director Kasaka. Assistant Director Johnson. Director Bullock. Assistant Director Dalton. Director Trojan. Assistant Director Enjoya. Director Ecard. Assistant Director Fitzgerald. Director Morgan. Assistant Director Young. Director Scott. Assistant Director Brown. Director Ifeji. Student Disability Representative Hannah. First Gen Low Income Representative Ajapong. University Residence Government Representative Davis. Fraternity and Sorority Life Representative Andrew. Military and Veterans Representative Guilford. Graphic Designer Lizane Work. Photographer Lahai. Videographer Jimeja. President Pro Tempore Tasker. Government Operations Chair Kelly. Appropriations Chair Miller. Senator Atalogu. Senator Lawson. Senator Scromo. Senator Rivera Forbes. Senator Apia Kodua. Senator Farrell. Senator Jonas. Senator Williams. Senator Hastings. Senator Rhines. Chief Justice Alojo. Deputy Chief Justice Blandon. Associate Justice Breedlove. Associate Justice Ubam. Associate Justice Nikita.
We are now going to move into approval of the minutes. Minutes are approved. Are there any amendments to the agenda? Hear none, see none. Public participation, student concerns. All right, hear none, see none. We are now going to move into communications, advisors' remarks.
Happy Tiger Tuesday. It's good to see you all. The reminders for today or updates, homecoming is in just a few weeks away. There's a few ways that you all can participate. I also believe there are some expectations around homecoming for SGA members as an organization. But in general, we have the walking parade. So we'll be walking from Newell down to West Village. Additionally, if you have some talents that you want to show off, there's still room for you to perform at the talent show. Talent show is Tuesday night. And then the Old School Challenge is a new collaboration with the Military and Veterans Center, as well as the Fraternity Sorority Life Office. And so looking to make the connection with SGA as well. There's a whole bunch of other stuff happening that week. Everything is free, so come out and enjoy, show our school spirit. We're also hosting another Tiger Tuesday Bash that week. So Tuesday afternoon, early afternoon, we'll be out on Tiger Plaza having a good time. I also think timesheets are due this week. So if you're a paid member, make sure that you are submitting your timesheets by tomorrow at 5 o'clock so that Janaya can get them into the system and approved. I think that's it. I yield.
Appropriations Committee.
Hello, everyone. Happy Tiger Tuesday. Appropriations Committee met today at 3:30. We went over the financial policy for student organizations, Section 6, alternative funding, so that the Appropriations Committee knows what to expect when reviewing grants going forward. We also discussed alternative methods of getting the alternative funding methods out to the student body for various forms of advertising, and we will meet again next week at 3:30. Same time, same place. Any questions? With that, I yield.
Rules Committee. I track that. Government Operations Committee.
All right, good evening, everybody. So the Government Operations Committee We will be meeting this Friday at 4 p.m. and we will be reviewing resolution number 16. That I yield.
Rules Committee.
Happy Tiger Tuesday, everyone. All right, I have a couple of announcements. Senators, I would encourage you all to write these down or put it in any form of communication that you have. So on September 9th and September 11th, Senate leadership hosted legislation workshops. Every single senator was in attendance except for a couple of you all. If you were not in attendance for a legislation workshop, we will be having another makeup session. We will be having that makeup session in the next 2 weeks. It just depends on information that we talk about at our Senate leadership meeting with Vice President Britton, just to make sure that everyone's scheduled, as the next semesters are the next weeks are really busy for senators, especially with the full monthly meeting we'll be having on Friday. In addition, we will be having our first full senator monthly meeting this Friday, September 19th from 4 to 5. That will be in replacement of Government Operations Committee. So all people should be in attendance. It is mandatory. And if you aren't going to be there, please do communicate that to either myself or Vice President Britton. As if you don't show up, it will be a PDR, just so that we all can have formal communication at that meeting. In addition, your one-on-ones was sent out Sunday via GroupMe. If you did not sign up for a slot yet, please sign up by this Friday. That way I can add it to my schedule to make sure that I meet with each and every one of you all, especially since we have new senators that we have to add to our schedule as well. If you have any questions or like conflicts with any of those meetings, whether that's going to be this Friday at our monthly meeting or next starting September 30th for our one-on-ones, just either contact me directly through GroupMe, text me on my phone number, or just come meet with me after General Assembly. I try to make myself as flexible since I know all of our schedules are different. And then lastly, we will be having an important update sent via GroupMe by Thursday. More information to come about that, so just please look out for that. And if you have any other questions, with that, I yield.
Treasurer Allen.
Hi guys, happy Tiger Tuesday. This is just a really brief thing. It is the 4th week of school and there haven't been any IES forms that have been approved yet. That's not crazy. You guys don't have to push events just because you feel like it. But just make sure that, again, if you are submitting an IES form, it's following all the rules. You do have the links here, either Target registry or your Amazon list. It's at least 2 weeks in advance, and just make sure you're doing the same thing when you submit the form, period, because if you're booking a room, it's gonna take time to book the room. It's also gonna take time for the item to arrive because we don't have any type of expedited shipping. So again, week 4, no IES forms. It's questionable, but I do understand, especially because we just made the event proposal form in a sense. So again, if you just have any questions regarding funding or how your event can be funded, just reach out to me if you have any apprehensions about submitting it before your event happens. I yield.
Attorney General Sonia.
Happy Tiger Tuesday, everyone. Just reiterating some things from last week. I believe by now, if you haven't already addressed me with discrepancies within your weekly report, it's on you for that denial. So please do come see me if there are any issues within your weekly report. You keep on getting denials and you're just not sure where you're going wrong. Please come see me for that. Also, please make sure you're coming into the office for your threshold of hours. Directors, 10 hours, assistant directors, 5 hours, senators, 5 hours, I believe justices, 5 hours, the chief, 10 hours. Making sure that you know how many hours you work per week and making sure you meet that threshold unless there's something going on. If you're not able to, that's fine. We are students as well. So just please let me know or else it will be a denial as well. And then also some GA etiquette. Let's please make sure that we are using the point of personal privilege when we are leaving for whatever reason, stepping out for the bathroom, or you just need a break or whatever the case may be. And to do that, you just raise your hand. You could either wait for the mic or wait for a signal from the executive board. Are there any questions? With that, I yield.
Chief of Staff Hurley.
Happy Tiger Tuesday. Just reiterating what I sent out in the email this morning, Bigs and Littles will continue during pre-meeting this Thursday, September 18th. If your group did not present on the 4th, which was the first presentations, you'll be presenting this week, so please come prepared for that. On Thursday, September 25th, during pre-meeting, we will be taking group pictures. So please wear your polos and meet in the LA building at 5 p.m. so we can begin promptly. In May, most likely we'll run over 6 o'clock, so just be prepared for that. We are taking pictures for everybody, so just keep that in mind. And then for the executive branch, as you begin planning and executing your events, make sure that you're referencing the PowerPoint that I sent out to you all for guidance. And if you need any additional assistance or have any questions, don't hesitate to reach out to me. If nobody has any questions with that, I yield.
Department of Academic Affairs.
Happy Tiger Tuesday, everyone. No report.
Department of Communications.
Director Bryant and I don't think is gonna be able to attend because of an emergency, but anyways, we've kind of been sifting through emails and whatnot, so just keep a lookout if you're copied in anything that goes directly to your department. Any questions? I do.
Department of Community Outreach.
No report.
Department of Diversity and Inclusion.
We have an update for the bingo night event that we're having with Sia. It's been rescheduled to September 17th from 6. And yeah, that's our report. Thank you.
Department of Governmental Affairs.
Happy Tiger Tuesday, everyone.
Happy
Tiger Tuesday. So today, we just partnered with the Office of Civic Engagement and Social Responsibility for resource fair because it is National Voter Registration Day. And today we just tabled that tip for updates. Any questions? I yield my time.
Department of Health and Wellness.
So we have, you hear me? So I have 2 things. Thank you for everyone's time.
No.
Okay. Thanks for everyone signing up for our blood drive volunteers. The whole sign up genius is complete. Thank you guys for that. And also me and my director will be meeting with 2 people from the health and development with I don't know their exact names, but on my head. But we're meeting with them next week and we'll get back with like events for that as well.
Department of Marketing.
No report.
Department of New Student Development.
Hey, happy Turkey Tuesday. So basically right now, we're working on completing our freshman council. We have our first meeting on Friday at 8:30 in the morning. Just an introductory meeting, making sure that they all get to know each other. We're also working on planning our first event. We'll probably have that more detail for that next week. And with that, I yield my time.
Department of Special Projects.
Good evening, everyone. So we have 2 events coming up later this fall, which is Friendsgiving, which will be on November 20th, and then the holiday board bombing, which will be on December 4th. And we're gonna like have small planning committees for both of those events. So if anyone would like to participate in planning those events and planning those activities, please let me know. With that being my time, thank you.
Department of Student Organizations.
Happy Tiger Tuesday.
Right.
So next week, September 23rd, is gonna be the Tiger Tuesday organizations in the union from 11:30 a.m. to 1:30 p.m. And with that,
Department of Student Services and Affairs.
This Friday, my AD sent out the sign up genius for the street team initiative, so please sign up, come out. I yield my time.
Department of Sustainability.
No report.
First Gen Low Income Representative.
No report.
Fraternity and sorority life representative.
My report is very short. As an office, trying sorority life, we'll be participating in the Old School Challenge for homecoming, which is on October 10th from 3 to 6, which will be competing against SGA and the veterans team. As far as councils, there's not much going on. As far as MGC and MPHC, our yard show went very well. There was a nice turnout. As far as MPHC, they will be participating in Dance the Madness on October 9th between 7 and 9 p.m. in CQ Arena. And as far as IFC, they're welcoming in one new fraternity, Sigma Alpha Epsilon. And lastly, they will be hosting a tailgate at the game this Saturday. And with that, I yield.
Military Veterans representative.
Happy Tiger Tuesday, everyone. We don't have much to report. We had our welcome back luncheon this week, or it was literally today, I'm sorry. But yeah, we had our welcome back luncheon and it went well. And with that, I yield.
Student disability representative.
Happy Tiger Tuesdays, it's not an event, but it's like, it's just show up building room where like it's Monday through Thursday. It's called Umbrella Hour. It's the Rainbow Lounge. I never heard of that room before, but it's in UU 351A. It's a relaxing, sensory friendly space to support and connect everyone. If you would like to attend, go ahead and do that. Yeah, that's it.
Assistant director. Okay.
Sorry, do you mind repeating that one more time? Oh, yes. It's not an event, but it's more of like a show up kind of space. It's called Umbrella Hour. It's Monday through Thursday, 1 p.m. to 2 p.m. It's a relaxing, sensory friendly space. If you want to, go there and meet new people, you can, support whatever as a community. It's for anyone, for everybody. Thank you. Do you want the room number? Okay, it's UU 361A.
University Residence Government representative. Here. Transfer council representative.
No report, thank you.
Freshman council representative.
Hello, just like she said, we have our first meeting Friday, 8:30 a.m. That's it.
Happy Tiger Tuesday, everybody. Just the usual housekeeping to start off, and I'll remind you this time, please put your nameplates in that box back there, not this one. We had some confusion earlier today and the names are getting mixed up. Also, recycle your agendas if you're not going to use them. Other than that, like some things President Pro Tempore Tasker mentioned, we just completed the successful legislative workshops this past week. Those went really well, like the attendance and the turnout and the conversations that we had. Senators, if you are starting legislation this week, there's something I want you to pay attention to. I have added a new line at the head of each piece of general resolutions. This says addressed to. This gives you the ability to write down who you believe that your legislation should be sent to if passed. So, any questions regarding that? Nope. All right, so since President Ali is not here this week, I have been tasked with picking the member of the week. Can I get a drum roll, please? All right. So this week's member of the week is a member that is new to SGA. This is a hard pick because a lot of you guys have been doing a really good job. But this person, I've seen firsthand their hard work, the work they've done in the field, the things they've been sending out, the people that they've been talking to. So this week's member of the week is Director Morgan. So please see Director Bullock at the end of GA to complete your member of the week duties. And with that, I yield. All there any opinions of the court?
Happy Tiger Tuesday, y'all. Okay, so the judicial branch met with 3 orgs last week. So we met with the African Diaspora Club, and last Thursday, we granted their appeal. We also met with Original Blend and Teachers of Towson last Friday, and both appeals were granted. Any questions? With that, I yield.
We will now move into a quorum call. Senators, press yes on your clickers to indicate that you are here. You can just raise your hand. Cool. And with that, the quorum call has passed 13-0-0. Are there any motions on the floor? Government Operations Chair Kelly.
Motion to amend Senate Bill number 2 to add Senator Pia Kotola as a co-sponsor.
Are there any seconds?
I second.
Thank you, Senator Piakoto. And with that, the amendment to change Senate Bill number 2 to add Senator Piakoto has passed with a vote of 12-0-0. Are there any motions on the floor? Government Operations Chair Kelly.
Motion to review Senate Bill number 2.
Are there any seconds?
I second.
Thank you, Senator Piakoto. The motion to review Senate Bill number 2 has passed with a vote of 12-0-0. May Government Operations Chair Kelly and Senator Piakoto come present the bill to the floor.
Good evening, everybody. So Senate Bill number 2 deals with the responsibilities of the Government Operations Committee to have us review state legislation throughout the semester rather than just for Tiger Pride Day. That's a general overview of the bill.
All right, happy Tiger Tuesday, everyone. Good evening. I decided to co-sponsor this bill because I believe that the Government Operations Committee is more than able to take on the added responsibility of reviewing state legislation throughout the school year to ensure that, we're building not only a good rapport with the state senate, but also just improving our research skills and also just giving us a space to actually work on the policies that affect all of us and those around us, right? And so I think that this is the next step forward in the right direction, and I support this bill wholeheartedly. Thank you.
All right, thank you, Government Operations Chair Kelly and Senator Piakoto. I do want to mention that rules did meet on September 11th to vote on Senate Bill number 2, and the committee did vote the bill unfavorable with no amendments and a vote of 4-1-1. So just putting that out there. Are there any questions on the floor? Vice President Burton.
So I have a statement kind of and a question. So my original statement is that I like the intent of the bill. I believe the phrase that we use around here a lot is tangible change. And what change is more tangible than the actual legislation in the state senate. And I like the idea that the Government Operations Committee, which we've kind of put out there as the resolution committee and all that, handling this kind of stuff. My only concern, I guess, would be that it would interfere with the usual operations of the Government Operations Committee. As you know, typically, not only are we reviewing resolutions that come out on the floor, but we usually have it as a space that fosters creativity and we bring ideas and build resolutions together within that committee. So how would you balance the current use of the committee, which is to foster ideas and brainstorm and come up with resolutions and ideas together, with also reviewing current legislation and coming up with ways to put that on the floor?
Oh, yeah, so that's a good question. So the way I look at it, that reviewing state legislation would come as a secondary priority. The priority the students are always gonna put at the forefront. But for example, like last week, we didn't meet because there weren't any resolutions on the floor. And this is also something that the Maryland legislative session, they convene during the spring semester. So this would be only something that we would focus on during the second semester. And so if there's no resolutions pertaining to the student body, then we would meet and review state legislation during that time.
Are there any other? Senator Scrummo.
For clarification, this would only be if Government Operations Committee has no resolutions to review.
Yes, that is correct.
Thank you.
Senator Miller. Well, Appropriations Chair Miller.
Since you have stated that the review of state legislation would be a secondary responsibility of Government Operations Committee under this bill, would you be open to putting that into the bill in order to state specifically for future administrations that it's a secondary responsibility if there is no other resolutions on the floor?
Yeah, I mean, anyone can make an amendment here to add that in, if you want to. The reason why I didn't write it is because I thought that would kind of be implied that the priority students always come first, but if anyone who wants to make that amendment, go ahead.
And I actually had a follow-up question. So what was, why not encourage individuals to draft legislation regarding favorability or support of state legislation? Why did you want to put the drafting of resolutions to the responsibility of government operations instead of allowing individual senators or directors to come forward with something they thought the wider Senate should discuss?
So anyone could write a resolution supporting or opposing state legislation. Any senator within or outside the committee could write anything saying they support it. But for example, if there's nothing for our committee to review, we shouldn't just write that off as a day to not meet. Because especially in the spring semester, when the state is introducing hundreds of bills, there's always something we can take a position on to show where we stand. So that's.
Senator Rivera Forbes.
I need a comment, right? Okay. I support this bill. Also, well, Senator Kelly, Government Operations Chair Kelly, made a great point. The spring semester is when the legislative session convenes. So you're not going to be seeing anything during the fall semester. And if we look back to the Appropriations Committee on the time where the Appropriations Committee wasn't really doing much besides approving things here and there, we ended up closing down the Grant Review Committee just to give the Appropriations Committee more to work on and also more access to the different monetary things that we go through in the General Assembly. So I really don't think this hurts to go to the Government Operations Committee. I don't see the Government Operations Committee pushing less resolutions either. I think it would actually make more sense for the GovOps Committee to take stances like that because that is kind of the center role of the name of the committee. Rules Committee is more of guiding the rules of the General Assembly. We know that the SGA, that's what they review, but GovOps is legislation within itself. So it would make sense for them to have, an impact in the legislation that's happening in the state. And then additionally, on top of that, anybody can come forward with legislation now, just like anybody can bring something to the GovOps Committee. Anybody can write a resolution. And I feel like nothing's going to change that, even if this was written in there. Now, we could have some clarification. I do agree with that, just saying like this is a secondary thing and that if future GovOps chairs do come in the position, they don't specifically focus on the legislative session, but this truly isn't gonna hurt anyone. Everyone's gonna be able to give input. Even now as SGA, like last year, we did really good. The director of the government, and don't get me wrong, but Director Reyes basically did really good in pushing legislation on the floor last year, but imagine what we could do with a committee that's specifically also working beside it, because we had the whole Senate working last year, and I will say the Senate didn't have a big focus on the legislation like we should have. And that's my personal opinion, but that I yield.
Any other questions? Senator Farrell?
Can I just forget?
My main question is, why not make this like an ad hoc committee and specifically, like, instead of, why not make this an ad hoc committee and why specifically make it part of, government operation, like a secondary responsibility?
Yeah, so that's something I was considering before. But the issue with that is that an ad hoc committee, it's only for a temporary purpose, but this is something we do every year. Every year, the legislation for Tiger Friday comes to the Government Operations Committee already. So in essence, we already do this every year. So it wouldn't be out of our role to just do it throughout the semester.
Can I ask a follow-up question? So how do you kind of plan this working? So would we just see a Maryland bill and then we just review it? And then we would write it in a way to say that we approve it or not? And then, yeah, that's basically my question, just for like clarification on how we would.
Yeah.
Pretty much. Okay.
Vice President Britton is gonna provide a point of clarification.
I had a question. So like I said earlier, I remember last year, whenever we didn't have bills to review, President Pro Tempore Tasker, then Government Operations Chair Tasker, would have us kind of have those brainstorming sessions where she would separate us in groups and we would attack issues, and that's how we would create new legislation. Would that take any more of a backseat to this type of brainstorming during the spring semester, or will we still have time split between, all right, we don't have any bills to review, brainstorm, and then the second half of the meeting is governmental review, or would you flip back and forth between different meetings?
I mean, obviously, like brainstorming ideas that directly affect students here would always take priority. But we can only have so many workshops about this. And at some point, like if you break people into groups, like if you're talking about, like last semester, she did sustainability and accessibility. Those people already know what they're working on, so we don't need to have a whole hour meeting to continue talking about that. We can go into other areas concerning state legislation.
I recommend that a member of the Senate yield their time to Director Edwards. Senator Rhines?
I yield my time to Director Edwards.
Thank you. Director Edwards? Point of order.
Yes, so I just wanted to speak on whereas concerns that Appropriations Chair Miller brought up and Vice President Britton brought up as well. Just whereas it concerns like just the duties of the Government Operations Committee as a whole. More specifically though, on the point that Appropriations Chair Miller was making, just on the verbiage of the bill, I do think just as a, I don't know, like an opinion or recommendation / suggestion, but I do think it is important to explicitly state, how
you'd like to see, like you mentioned that, we could always make the addition to it today, like if it gets passed, I think it should be made, the addition to kind of explicitly state like how it would take over, like you said, in the event that there's not resolutions or legislation to review, then that could be, because I think it leaves a lot of room up for misinterpretation of like future administrations, because like, senators have stated that spoke today. Yeah, just as senators who have spoke today and concerning like the duties and if it's gonna take a backseat or secondhand, based on the verbiage of it, it's just saying that this is an added responsibility. So where you're saying that, it can be implied that it would only be in the case of there not being, legislation review. I just think it's important. I just feel like all senators, anything that might be going on the floor, might be getting written, just to kind of like explicitly state how it would take into effect, like what it means and like how, does that make sense? Especially like when you're enacting change, just to make sure that you're explicitly stating how things would like come into place and not leaving too much room for interpretation. So just wanted
One
to-
second before you answer, Government Operations Chair Kelly. Guys, let's please be mindful that this is Senate portion of the General Assembly, and we want to give time and respect to everyone that has a question. So please hold your conversations for after General Assembly so that we can hear everyone. Government Operations Chair Kelly can answer.
Thank you.
Yeah, I agree with the amendment to say it's a secondary priority.
Appropriations Chair Miller.
I actually would just like to verify, because we have moved into the review stage, we are not able to make amendments at this time, correct?
Correct. Are there any other questions, Senator Rhines? Was there a follow-up question, Appropriations Chair Miller?
Yeah, just
Advisor Harris?
I'm not sure if it's a point of order or point of information. You can amend on the floor for second reading. You can make amendments to the legislation.
Appropriations Chair Miller?
I would like to motion to amend Senate Bill number 2 to include at the beginning, should all other responsibilities be met, and then the rest of the legislation.
Are there any seconds?
I second.
Thank you, Senator Williams. So you are clarifying that it says it should be all responsibilities met at the beginning, correct?
Yes, my amendment is to include at the beginning, should all other responsibilities be met, comma.
Thank you, Appropriations Chair Miller. The motion to amend Senate Bill number 2 to include should all responsibilities be met has passed with a vote of 10-0-0. Are there any other questions on the floor? Senator Rhines?
Yeah, I do have one question. So as you stated, this like state legislation would only be reviewed if if there's no like resolutions to be looked at in GovOps, right?
what if like there's state legislation that like kind of requires urgency? Like that's something that's like impeding that we need to be on, like would that be an exception or?
So that would probably be something that we would advocate in person for Tiger Pride Day, like things that are like very important, we want to go in person.
I understand, thank you.
I recommend that a member of the Senate yield their time to Assistant Director Enjoy. Senator Scrumma.
I yield my time to Assistant Director Enjoy.
Assistant Director Enjoy.
I'm actually a fan of this. I think that it's important, for us to, or for you guys to, have more of a say in what is actually happening in Maryland currently. I do understand that this would be essentially tabled to prioritize, other bills or to prioritize other things. So spring semester does make a lot of sense to me. I just have one question about, just like a clarification question about, when it says student interest, would this be something where you would set up some type of system where if the build up does pop up, students can go on like the SGA website and say, hey, we want representation on this bill? Like, is that something you would be open to opening this up to like the actual student body? Or would this just be like SGA?
So that's probably where the Department of Governmental Affairs come into play and help with this. We can always work with them. They work on Tiger Pride Day about legislation that students have really interest in. So we would always be willing to work with them.
Cool. Okay, I'm gonna take the last question. So my question would be, since this is being changed in our bylaws, and this will be something that would be stating for the entire administration and administrations to come, unless another administration reviews our governing documents and changes it themselves within the Senate, how would you put in your transition documents after your term as government operations chair, explain this to the next government operations chair that steps in your position to clarify that this is something that would still have effect, or that would be clear and transparent for the next administration to come, so that there's not a lack of confusion or transparency when it comes to this review?
I would make it clear that the interests of the student body always come first, everything we do. We're gonna address student needs right here at Towson, and then as a secondary option at the state level. I don't want the person to come in this position to think that all we do is focus on stuff that's going on in the entire state. But I would make it clear that if there is nothing that is being addressed or needs really to address right here, addressing issues at the state level should come up as a secondary priority.
All right, thank you, Government Operations Chair Kelly and Senator Piakoto. Are there any motions on the floor? Appropriations Chair Miller.
I would like to call the question, Senate Bill number 2.
Are there any seconds?
I second.
Thank you, Senator Williams. And with that, the call to question on Senate Bill number 2 has passed with a vote of 12-0-0. We will now be moving into a vote. And with that, Senate Bill number 2 has passed with a vote of 11-1-0. And with that, congratulations, Government Operations Chair. Are there any motions on the floor? Senator Scrumma.
Motion to inquire resolution number 16.
Are there any seconds?
I second.
Thank you, Senator Ryan. The motion to inquire Senate Resolution number 16 has passed with a vote of 12-0-0. May I have Senator Scrumma come please present your bill to the floor?
Good evening, everyone, and happy Tiger Tuesday. I'm gonna try my best to provide a brief explanation of my first resolution to give everyone as much information as possible. My resolution concerns the issues of parking within campus and how it's most common to see someone have to pay a parking citation, even if it's their first time breaking the rules. Most of the time, these are accidents or minor mistakes, especially for freshmen or transfer students who aren't as familiar with the parking enforcement. I want to ease the financial burden of people who go through this by providing a warning with no balance due for students of all years. So basically a clean slate, not just freshmen or transfers, as I mentioned before. While conducting research with Government Operations Chair Kelly, we discovered a Tower Light article about a decrease of revenue within the department that the Director of Parking and Transportation, Pamela Mooney, claimed that the department prefers not to give paid citations to students. Prior citation reports even show that some people still had to pay a fee regardless of if it was a first offense or not. And to those with experience with parking enforcement who have already received warnings and not had to pay, the total number of people who haven't had to pay is a very small fraction compared to the tens and thousands of people who have had to pay for those small mistakes. 78 warnings in the last school year within the approximate 25,000 who had to pay. There are other confirmed universities that use this warning system where you don't have to pay for a citation. I've listed a couple below, like the University of Notre Dame, not the one in Maryland. But none of them are near Maryland. Again, I want to make parking easier for the students at Towson University without them having to worry about a fee and to start with a clean slate, like I mentioned before. Thank you for your time.
Thank you, Senators Gromo and Government Operations Chair Kelly. Are there any questions on the floor? Senator Biacono.
Good evening and happy Tiger Tuesday, everyone. All right, thank you. First I want to encourage the Senate. Can we give an applause for Senator Scomo? Oh, that's not, I'm sorry. All right, I do want to say that was a well-researched piece of legislation, and honestly, I believe that.
Non-debatable technical questions only.
Okay, so.
No comments,
No comments. Okay, my question to you would be, in the future, in this piece of legislation, can you include, the proposed amount for lesser fines or like maybe a reduced amount for the, how do I say this, the parking fees that come, sorry, the house, please forgive me. Basically, for a second time offender, can we include in this piece of legislation, in a reduced amount, that they would have to pay, than what they're already paying? Thank you.
So right now, I'm not exactly sure if we can do that, if we can alter the fees that they already have to pay. The resolution that I want to concern with right now is only for first-time offenses. And that would just be a free, non-paid warning.
Senator Ryan.
Just to cover all bases, have you guys already talked with parking and like, have there been anything, are they planning, because I know parking is a big point of contention right now, have they planned to do anything in the next upcoming school years? Or have you come to that base?
No, there has not been any discussion with parking and transportation regarding warnings. But if this resolution passes, hopefully we can encourage them to change their policy to include warnings. The only thing we've gathered from parking and transportation is the data of the approximately 25,000 people that have had to pay.
Thank you.
Are there any other questions? I recommend that a member of the Senate yield their time to Assistant Director Enjoya. Senator Ryan.
I yield my time to Assistant Director Angela.
Thank you, Senator Ryan. Assistant Director Enjoya.
Hi, would this bill be from like a now on perspective? So like if I get a parking thing now on, or could people argue their tickets from before?
This would be more of like a now on thing, as like a starting fresh kind of thing. And again, not just for freshmen and transfers, for students of all years.
Okay, thank you.
I recommend that a member of the Senate yield their time to Director Edwards. Appropriations Chair Miller.
I yield my time to Director Edwards.
Director Edwards.
Hi, so yeah, just a question or two. You mentioned about people like this would, I guess, allow for students to start with a clean slate. So I guess just kind of like a question on that, because don't they like actually start with a clean slate? And then they get a ticket, and then also, I guess,
Point of order, non-debatable technical questions only.
so. Right, so have you, oh no, okay, so I guess like the second part to that question, or I'll just make it a new question. I mean, have you considered that the Department of Transportation, that they're a business and that you said there were 25,000 first offenders, so that times their fee, that's at least, minus 25,000, what, people in revenue for at least one ticket? Have you considered those implications and running Townsend and also just, yeah, just other stats around, yeah.
Yes, I have considered that. It's listed in my resolution actually that the director, Pamela Mooney, prefers not to write citations, which could point to the fact that they do not make their revenue solely on citations, or a majority is not on citations.
Yeah, I would also like to point you to a point in the resolution. It talks about in 2022 where they actually started giving you a tiered system. So if it was your first violation, they would give you a lesser fine compared to if it was your second violation. So before then, they kind of were giving warnings out, but since then they kind of stopped. So it is something they have done in the past.
Are there any other questions? I recommend that a member of the Senate yield their time to the freshman council representative. Senator Williams.
I yield my time to the freshman council representative.
Thank you, Senator Williams, freshman council representative.
So, I just had a suggestion, because I was reading.
Point of order, non-debatable technical questions only.
So I have a question. Instead of one
Point of order. Not you, to the audience. You're fine.
would you consider, instead of one warning per semester, probably one warning per year, like due to people taking advantage of that?
We were thinking about that, whether or not to make it per year or per semester, but in my opinion, I would like to give a bit more lenience because I don't know how much can be taken advantage of with 2 warnings for only your first time. Like you only get one warning per semester for your first offense, if that makes sense.
Are there any other questions? Senator Jonas.
It says right here that there's been like 78,000 students that have received a formal first time warning. I was kind of confused with that. So has there already been a system like this, or I know you just referred to something like a tier system, so I was just kind of confused. Is there already a system like?
Yeah, so really, in some situations, they kind of give the person who's handing out the warning, like, it's almost like up to their discretion almost. So like, for example, it points out that like improper parking, they only gave them a warning. If they're sharing the permit, they only gave them a warning. So it's like in some extenuating circumstances, you do get a warning, but it's not like in their official policy.
I wanted to add on to that, even though some people did get warnings for improper parking, there were still a lot of people that had to pay for that same mistake.
So it was like, it was like inconsistent. Right? It was like inconsistent. Sometimes they would give it out, sometimes they wouldn't.
Yes.
Okay. Yeah.
I recommend that a member of the Senate yield their time to Assistant Director Enjoya. Appropriations Chair Miller.
I yield my time to Assistant Director Enjoya.
Thank you, Assistant Director Enjoya.
Okay. To clarify, this only includes core parking, not street parking.
Yes.
Okay.
Are there any final questions on the floor? I recommend that a member of the Senate yield their time to the Transfer Council Representative. Appropriations Chair Miller.
I yield my time to the Transfer Council Representative.
Thank you, Appropriations Chair Miller, Transfer Council Representative.
Sorry, again, just clarifying, throughout 4 years that a student were to attend Towson University, you would be willing to give them 8 warnings?
Yes.
Okay.
Are there any final questions on the floor? All right, thank you, Senator Skirbo and Government Operations Chair Cameron. Are there any announcements? Vice President Britton.
Okay, so we had 2 birthdays this week. One that's passed, one that is upcoming. So we're gonna sing happy birthday to Kamari and Jada. So I'm gonna start us off kind of. All right, one. Sing on the okay. Ready? 3, 2, 1.
Happy birthday to you. Happy birthday to you. Happy birthday, dear. Happy birthday to you.
Thank you.
Okay, I know I already had mentioned this earlier, but Senators, please don't forget about our Friday meeting from 4 to 5 on September 19th. And are there any other announcements? Vice President Britton.
Please return your clickers, senators, and make sure all the nameplates, again, not this box up here, that box all the way in the back so we have no more confusion. Thank you.
Are there any motions on the floor? Senator Rhines?
Motion to adjourn.
Any second?
I second.
Thank you, Senator Skirbo. We have not officially adjourned, so may you all just hold on for 1 second, please. And with that, General Assembly has officially passed with a vote of 11-0-0. Have a good day, guys. General Assembly is adjourned.